I know what you're thinking. What's an old man like me doing walking the Camino? The Camino, I hear you ask. The Camino is a huge walk taken by pilgrims from all over the world. It's a walk that takes you from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, across the Pyrenees into Spain to Santiago. It's called the Way of St. James. Too far for the likes of me, who only ventures from the sofa to the kitchen when I have to. Well, it's the missus' idea. She's been nagging me all my life about us doing an adventure together. I thought being married was adventurous enough. I kept putting her off until we retired. I was hoping she'd forget, not likely. I wasn't that lucky, so here we are. It would be our adventure, she'd say. Yes, dear, I remember saying, but not really listening. I remember nodding and smiling, but not sure why. I just got into the habit of doing it over the years. It seemed to work in my favour, or at least I thought it did. Only this time, she had looked so excited, she nearly knocked me over in cuddles. It's been years since she'd done that, so of course I nodded and smiled cheerfully. Goodness knows what she was talking about. She said she booked it and paid for it, so I couldn't change my mind. She'd potter around the house singing, "We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us." She'd be busy filling backpacks and checking their weights. "What's the backpacks for?" I'd say. She'd said she'd told me weeks ago, and I had said, "Yes, dear." Well, she said we'd have to get fitter. Each of us struggled and struggled with the ups and downs, and that was just putting on our boots. That took our breath away. "We should have bought slip-ons," she'd say. I'd tap my hearing aid and pretended I couldn't hear. Actually, I couldn't. These things come with volume. I turned it down and nodded and smiled. I followed her out the door, each wearing our own backpacks. Seeing her smile made me smile, so I followed, past the flowers and the trees, and finally, although it was tough, we made it to our front gate. I wonder if God has volume when we start on Him. Maybe I should mention it, and maybe He will answer my prayers with a nod and a smile and get me out of going. Apparently, I left that too late in life too, according to the missus. "If only you believe in God," she'd say, "you'd have a peace about that and a peace about this, and we would have done it when we were younger." Maybe He'd already heard me a long time ago and thought it'd be funny I did this walk at my age. I heard he got a funny sense of humour. Maybe he's up there nodding and smiling about it now. While I waited for the missus, the Italians would say, "Piano, piano," which meant softly, softly. "Grandpa, don't go overdoing it." It hurt to realise I no longer look fit, let alone feel fit. Still, I think it's the missus who's struggling. She's pretending to take photos and chatting to the Koreans, but I secretly know she's resting, or worse, talking to God with more ideas. "This walk will help with your growth with God," she'd say. "Spending more time with Him and listening will help that growth. Even with my volume low, I still heard that. It rings in my ears. You've got plenty of time to listen to Him on the way," she'd say. "Why do I need growth?" I'd say. "Isn't it enough that I'm a Christian?" I thought I'd get peace when I became a Christian, but now I've got to grow as well. Growing means changing. Do I really want to change? I thought God might be on my side when I became a Christian, but it seems he's always on her side. She wanted to fully trust in God on this walk. She wanted to do bits of it on her own. That's why she hangs back and gives me some time alone with him. Growth means taking a risk, she'd say. Like this walk, she'd say. I'm taking a risk, all right. I'm off the sofa, aren't I? I'd say. You've got the rest of your life to be on that sofa, she'd ramble off. I wanted to tap my hearing aid, but she was giving me the look. You know the look. I mean the one she used to use on the children. Well, since they left home, I get the look. It's louder than any words. I long for the nod and the smile and the squeeze of the hand after the look. That always lets me know she's forgiven me. I'd walk on, listening to God, but only hearing the birds singing, the bells chiming that hung around the pony's neck. That was me annoying, Lord. The cows had them too. Still, if they weren't wearing them, we wouldn't know they were there in the thick fog. I don't feel like I'm growing at all, Lord, but I'm trusting you with every step as it's so foggy. I cannot see much in front of me. I stop and wait for the missus, and I ponder. I do miss my sofa and the TV remote control. I don't miss the ball coming over the fence and the endless knocks on the door. Can I have my ball back? I don't miss trying to find it in the garden we no longer look after now. It looks like a jungle. By the time we get back, it would have swallowed the house, no doubt. I don't miss waiting by the telephone for the kids to call. I don't miss the sadness in the missus' eyes when they don't visit. Or when we visit them, they don't find the time to be with us. I should have done this sooner, for her smile. More pilgrims strode past us with ease, with a nod and a smile from those who didn't speak the lingo, a buen camino and a holla from those who learnt enough Spanish to get by. It didn't matter that it took us all day to get to the next albergue. It meant we'd get the lower bunks, if we were lucky. Never thought I'd sleep on a bunk bed again. But here I was, struggling to get up the ladder, while the missus lay comfortably on the bottom bunk. She smiled and nodded. That was enough for me. She was happy on her adventure. My adventure was being with her. It's been tough. My limbs are not what they used to be, but we're managing. People on the Camino are so helpful and kind. More people stop and chat to me than ever at home. Yes, it was a good idea. I nod and smile as if it were my idea.